Hey my sugar bears, welcome back to my channel, Bougie AF. It's your host, Nicole. It's where I say stay bougie on them. It's me feeding you feminism for the soul. It's my soul food offering. It's where I apply pressure to issues by being critical and logical. Now don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Now let's get to the commentary where I can guarantee you I will be doing too much because that's just me. And like Sheree said, who's gonna check me, boo? Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. So I decided it was time for me to give my opinion about Bill Cosby and everything that is going on, Phylicia Rashad. There's just so many layers to this. I don't think this will be the only video I'm going to do because I just think there's just a lot to it. Because I actually just want to do a video where I just purely just talk about the auntie wars. So we're going to do Miss Phylicia Rashad versus my other TV mom from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Okay, so the blacktress, Miss Janet Hubert. So I'm gonna do that separately because that I got to get into that. Two of my favorite women. Okay, but still, I gotta let y'all know, like I told y'all, there's gonna be people make so many assumptions about when they hear that someone who claims their feminism, that just means they automatically see things one way and automatically feel one way about things, and that's just not the case. I can tell you when it comes to Bill Cosby, I think about things logically. I like to critically think about things. You get what I'm saying? So when it came to Bill Cosby and when this first happened or was happening, I was just one of those people who just felt like, no, this is wrong, right? I always felt like and I didn't say that he was innocent. And I'm not saying that he is guilty. But what I am saying is that I always knew what was happening was wrong. I think just I don't even think you have to be as astute or well read. But I think when you started to hear or not hear actually facts about the case and it just seems like everybody's talking about a whole bunch of feelings and things like that, or things that happened in the past that weren't proven, which does not make it a fact, right? So it was just a lot of just like people talking about things as though they were facts and they were really going for it. I felt like when it was going down, when it came to Bill Cosby, and we're not going to say the R word because we don't want no problems out here with YouTube and more. I'm trying to learn more and more of the things I can't say and do, stuff like that. But when it came to these 50 women that was on the New York Times and then them telling their stories, I always felt like the media purposely didn't cover or want to, and I'm pretty sure they probably asked in that article, but I just felt like the rest of the media didn't want to talk about, didn't get really in depth on reporting what these 50 ladies were saying. I can also tell you when it comes to Andrea Constand, this whole time when we're talking about the whole conversation of Quaaludes and stuff like that, allegedly that people feel like he was doing back in the day, that's not even what we were talking about current day. Like, we're literally talking about Benadryl. And yeah, that does matter, right? Because that's a fact. And we have a right to say, okay, girl, you mean to tell me at your big old age that you passed out from the Benadryl? Is that what we talking about after you came back 3 times? Yes, it does relax you. That's all you're going to get from that. But no grown-ass woman, unless you take a couple of those, is passing out because of Benadryl. I'm sorry. I don't believe it. Not that stuff that they sell over the counter. Because if that's the case, they need to take that shit from put it back in the pharmacy or something. That's way too strong. Way too strong. And I know that's not what we got here because there'd be more reports of people feeling like they just knock out to the point they don't know what happened to them once they take Benadryl. We don't have numerous stories of that. But that wasn't explored, right? So those are those facts or those things that people weren't made aware of. Were you guys aware that when it came to these 50 women, not all of them are alleging that that they even slept with Bill Cosby? Some of them are alleging he made me feel uncomfortable. That's the quickest way to piss me off, is to talk about feelings more than we're talking about factual information. I don't like that. Like, don't get me in a conversation and you got a grudge or you holding something against me, feel some sort of way, and it's all based on your feelings. Shit. And that's not to say that your feelings are not valid, but what I do know, Unless somebody know how something made them feel, they don't freaking know. So that's an inner issue with you having until you communicate with that person. So yeah, I really get it. That, because there's no room for somebody who's just upset and convince themselves that their feelings are facts. And that's just based off of whatever would make them feel some sort of way. And sometimes the other person don't know. No. Y'all don't have beef. You got something going on in your fucking head that you need to figure it out. That's exactly how I feel about that. But let's get back into it. But there was just a lot of, these women talking about their feelings. There was no factual evidence because it was so long ago. Our country, our judicial system, we have laws. And anytime I see white media not being stringent with like quoting the laws and saying, this has to be done by the book and this is what the book says you have to do. There's all that type of language. Even when you just talk about Derek Chauvin being sentenced. Oh, but the judge had to follow the law and follow the laws on the book and the sentencing guidelines and stuff like that. There's all of those that conversation, and then they're on it, right? But when it came to Bill Cosby in this situation, they weren't on it like that. They weren't talking about his Fifth Amendment rights being trampled. It was as if though it was the feeling club. But that's all it was. It was just all about feelings and what people thought. What people allegedly have been talking about for years. And I hate when people say 50 women. Before we get there, because I think Fat Joe wanted to talk about 50 women and talk about that number. We have to talk about that number in context of who we're talking about. 50 women for a regular Joe Schmo who say those things or are coming forward talking about, what they did when they were 20s for the regular guy. Yes, that would be alarming to me, but not some man who just walks down the street and can have whatever he wants. 2 or 3 at a time. 50 in 6 months. 50 in 3 months. There are men who are knocking them down like that. And I'm pretty sure this man who had all the power in the world at the time, he probably was knocking them down like that. And y'all acting like 50's a large number. Come on. But I find that really funny. But we're going to get there. Let's get to the article. So I got an article that I found on NBC News, and I have 2 articles. I'm going to read this article, but then I'm going to go to this other article that has the women who did an interview, I think the following day. But I think NBC News, but we'll see. But this one, Bill Cosby released after assault conviction overturned by Pennsylvania Supreme Court. A previous prosecutor had decided not to charge the comic and actor, and he relied on that to move to speak freely and give incriminating statements. Now, what that means, which is his Fifth Amendment right, that you can, when you see people in court, I plead the Fifth, which is meaning that I'm not going to say anything that is going to incriminate myself, which means that help you convict me. I'm not giving you that, right? So what ended up happening was, when Bill Cosby went in and they decided there wasn't enough evidence, okay, that prosecutor felt at the time there wasn't enough evidence that I could convict you criminally for. So we're not going to convict you. So you don't have to worry about it. So if you give your testimony for the civil case, it can't be used against you. Clean, simple. So when I see blogs like Bossip.com that says things like, oh, people are really celebrating, or I see a lot of celebrities, or people are celebrating this man being released over a technicality. There's no technicality about this. Let's be clear as day. And that's why there's recourse that could happen. That's why potentially this DA could lose his license. That's why he could go to jail. That's why the state will probably end up having to pay this man money. That's not a technicality. You broke the law. You violated his human rights. There's no technicality about that. And for all the black men who cannot see the bigger picture and realizing how easy it would be for a woman to be vindictive or to be angry and scorn or any of those things, to come back, or even to just feel like she ain't no hoe no more, just to come back 10, 15 years later and say that, oh, that night I spent with you, you gave me lean, so I feel like you did something like that was wrong. She feel like her whole facts has been deleted. You cool with that, men out there? No, you're not. So there's a bigger picture that I feel like when it comes to sometimes things that are situations with us that we fail to see. I am not talking about whether or not these things happen or whatnot, but what I am saying, there's a statute of limitation. What I am saying, all women, I hope you speak up on day one. I know how hard it is for us to get justice. And if you want to talk about lesser charge as Charlemagne the God and allegedly everything that's going on with Jessica Reed, and because she didn't speak up then, or they didn't fight in court, people don't want to stand for that girl. So yes, it's hard. Even when you do speak up at the time, people don't want to stand for Jessica Reed, and she spoke up at the time. There was physical evidence. This mofo has went to court. He's pled to a lesser charge, and y'all are so silent in these streets. We're gonna get back to that. I didn't mean to speed up, but it just went there. It just went there. And so when I feel like the media, and I feel this way, and a lot of times I've noticed that the coverage is skewed. I feel like they didn't ask the questions. I feel like they wanted this to happen. I feel like they follow waves. And the Me Too and everything was going on. You have all this talk, all this sensational, like who to find the next person to find guilty. It was mob mentality, media-wise, in terms of convicting whoever people would come out and tell a story about. You better ask people questions, and that's on both ends. Like, for me, I don't see gender when it comes to questioning a mofo. Women lie, men lie. Question. I grew up, and I remember one time, and it was so funny, in growing up in a white town like I did, I got to see a lot of black men get jammed up by women who falsely accused them. I remember one day I was sitting in a gym, and I'm not going to say no names, but so you don't have to worry about that. I remember one day where was it? Okay, so I used to go to all the basketball games, and there was this kid, and he was a little, looking back, we would say that he had a little bit of Down syndrome, and I think he just more or less just had a little bit of autism, probably on the spectrum, and we all knew, but he was still a nice kid, right? He was still good, but you could tell that there was something a little bit off. And I remember one day we were sitting in the basketball, and I would stay after school until the basketball game, so there was always some of us just chilling and hanging out and having fun and whatever. So I remember that this one black boy was messing with these two, not messing, because I don't want to say he was messing, but what seemed from what it looked like to him, that these girls were flirting with him, trying to get his attention in that like school girlish type of way, where you like that hitting or chase. How can I explain? Like I seen them taunt him, like to make him think like they were interested in him and they wanted his attention, right? So he would, go back to standing where he was, and they would like come to the door, and they would then kind of like run when he would try to kind of come up to them and say something to them, and then they would kind of like run to the bathroom. And then they would come back to the bathroom door and be looking at him again and messing with him and literally trying to entice and antagonize this boy to go to the bathroom so they could literally say something. Literally, because they could say they feel like he was trying to come into the bathroom. They're scared of him. Literally. Let me tell y'all something. I literally that night, I said to that boy, I said, be careful with them. I don't like what I see. And I remember saying that. I said, be careful. Do y'all know them witches literally tried to get old boy jammed up? Literally. And I seen them taunt him. So when a woman tells me that she went back to a man's room 3 times, and on the 3rd time she took some damn Benadryl, there was an understanding that happened. There was a conversation of what was supposed to go down. And that's just my opinion about that. All right. Bill Cosby released after assault conviction overturned by Pennsylvania Supreme Court. The Pennsylvania Supreme Court overturned the indecent assault conviction of Bill Cosby on Wednesday and ordered his release from prison after finding that he was denied protection against self-incrimination, okay? The court said that a prosecutor's decision not to charge Cosby, 83, he just celebrated his birthday, he 84 now, in an earlier case opened the door for him to speak freely in a lawsuit against him, thinking he would not incriminate himself criminally. So basically what I just told y'all, he literally was just telling them, or whatever he was telling them was about their, what happened probably between him and Andrea, where now it has been flipped to, oh, he admitted to drugging women back in the days. He didn't admit that either. He didn't admit that either. Because what we did find out is that not all of those cases are sexual intercourse. Like, come on. A second prosecutor later used the lawsuit testimony in a criminal trial, and that testimony was key in his conviction years later. Okay, Cosby was convicted on 3 felony counts of aggravated indecent assault in 2018 of drugging and assaulting Andrea Constand, and I believe in saying her name. Okay. In 2004, and was serving a 3 to 10 year sentence. He has served nearly 3 years of the sentence. The state Supreme Court said Cosby cannot be retried on the same charges. So this is it. Like, this is not coming back. This shit is dead. All right. So let's see what they got here.
T-Mobile gives you more reason.
All right, we'll wait on that. But yeah, I can't wait. Like, listen, Bill Cosby is really important to me. It's important into who I am as a person. That man has taught me so much. I don't even think I would be who I am if it wasn't for him. Like, that's how strongly I felt and feel about this situation. And there were so many people at the time that I felt like were like, oh, people need to separate the man from the character. Oh, this is not, we're not children anymore. And it wasn't even about that. Like, you can literally admire somebody, but I'm going to always stand on logic and critically being able to analyze it and give. So for me, if it don't make sense, it just don't make sense. And it has nothing to do with my admiration for it. If I can walk it out, and if I can explain it the same way that Supreme Court just said it, I said the same thing. On top of that, if you want to talk about the 50, they're not, it's not been proven. So it's not factual information. And I know a lot of people like to even use the logic and say things like, oh, if all these people say it, then it must be true. No, that is not true. That's not true. That is not true. Again, numbers matter. The probability and all that other stuff of him being in contact and coming across and personally dealing with hundreds of people in his life at a time from touring and all that other stuff is greater than me and you. How about this? Me and a regular civilian who doesn't get on a mic and who doesn't do a lot of social media, I'm going to have naturally more people who feel like they know me and more people who may dislike me for whatever reason. Because you know why? I put myself out there more, right? So the probability of me having more naysayers is higher than the person who's not putting themselves out there. And that's not a dinger on me compared to the next person, because that next person could still have some of the same views that I have, but you just don't freaking know, right? So there's less opportunity for people to feel some way about that person. Don't make me a bad person. And it's sure as hell when it comes to Bill Cosby and these 50 women who have an experience that they either feel some sort of way about, the numbers are relatively low in comparison. I think it was, what's his name? Was it Wilt Chamberlain? Did he say he slept over with 1,000 women or some shit? And they celebrated that at one point? Didn't they have a billboard up or something of his count? And y'all sitting up here acting crazy over 50? Oh, y'all brand new. Okay, I see what's going on here. I see what's going on here. Y'all let white media forget let y'all forget the reality of what real life is. That's what I think. And y'all did the same thing when it come to Tyson. You want to think about it. If you y'all let media get that case, and like, oh my God, she can just come over and visit. That doesn't mean that they were gonna have sex. Y'all let white media think like that wasn't reality. Reality tells me that if you leave your house at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning and you go to somebody else's house, there's only certain one things happening. And yes, you can always change your mind. You can always change your mind. No one is not saying that. But what I think, when you lose me, when you don't keep it real from the beginning and feel like, and try to say dumb shit like you didn't know what was going on at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. I can't roll with that. That the real ass woman in me cannot roll with you women just not keeping it real. So once you don't do that, I'm looking at you weird. I got a question, like, I'm looking at you weird, just basically. Okay, so when an unconditional charging decision is made publicly and with the intent to induce... Wait, did I miss something? Okay, the state Supreme Court said Cosby cannot be tried on the same charges. When an unconditional charging decision is made publicly and with the intent to induce action and reliance by the defendant, and when the defendant does so to his detriment, meaning that, you know, he relied on what he was told, and then because he relied on what he told information that was used against his detriment. And in some instances, upon the advice of counsel, denying the defendant the benefit of the decision is an affront to fundamental fairness, according to the High Court opinion authored Justice David Wedge. I don't know who tell them, okay? This was not hard. I don't think you had to go look up too much for this. This was so easy to me. This was so easy. It was like, to me, it was like, I'm not getting into what happened. I weren't there. It wasn't investigated then. And this is not to say that it's your fault, but we make decisions in our lives. And I don't think he has to walk around and live like his life as a guilty man. Do y'all homeboys Pokey, who got out of jail for 20 years from killing somebody, his brand new life then started over for him. He ain't guilty. He ain't living his life like he guilty. He ain't living his life like, come on, y'all let y'all people get back to regular life. I ain't know I was gonna act up, but this one. I promise y'all, the day this happened, I made a video. I was cheering and everything, and people was like, "Oh, people are so ignorant." No, y'all people are pushing people in society to just be like, "No, stop with all this fiddling ass shit. Stop with not keeping it real and keeping it factual." For these reasons, Cosby's conviction and judgment of sentence are vacated and he is discharged. Yes, by the time this came out, he was already home. The prosecution of Cosby was one of the first major milestones of the Me Too movement. Yes, they needed victims. Like I told y'all before about these activists, the media is like that too, where they need somebody. They need a villain, right? So they're always on villain lookout. They're always looking for somebody who they can have a moment with in the media and drive in ratings. As women came forward with their tales of unwanted sexual advances and harassment in the workplace. Now, that is very key. Listen to what I just told y'all. So a lot of these cases aren't even about sex happening. Unwanted sexual advances, okay. Again, what type of sexual advances? Did we pass each other in tight quarters and you felt like I rubbed up against you? Like, I need to know those things. And granted, I probably can go find them. But again, they just weren't proven at the time. They just weren't proven. And harassment in the workplace, also something that was not proven. And these are part of the 50 women. Cosby spokesman Andrew Wyatt thanked the comedian's legal team in the Pennsylvania Supreme Court, calling Wednesday's ruling a moment of justice for Black Americans. Yes, shout out the legal team. I mean, it was very whitish. But I mean, you know, they got the job done. This is the justice Mr. Cosby has been fighting for, Wyatt said in a statement. They saw the light. He waived his Fifth Amendment right and settled out of court. He was giving a deal and he had immunity. He should have never been charged. He should have never been. That's just what it is. He should have never been charged. And this ain't disputing anybody's story. We don't even need to get into nobody's story. He should have never been charged. He should just never been charged. That's just all it is. Let me get my people on the screen. Let me get my people on the screen. Okay? That's my TV mom right there. She a writer. She a real one. But yeah, so he should never been charged. And that's basically... And then Constand, Andrea, scarecrow looking one, she released a joint statement with her attorney. And my tone is what it is. I'm not going to even be apologetic for it. I don't believe this woman. And so y'all can sit up here and say all that victim blaming. I don't believe this woman. This woman right here. And this is how I felt from the very beginning. I don't believe this woman is a victim. Just point period blank. Constand released a joint statement with her attorneys on Wednesday, asserting that she was never privy to any kind of prosecutorial deal with Cosby in 2005. That's a lie. You know that's a lie. Because if he gave a testimony in the civil case, right? And now just to remind you, when it came to the criminal case, she was made aware of what was going on and what was being settled for her to be able to get the money. That DA had to go to her because, again, she would have been a part of the case and say, hey, this is what I can get you. Because I cannot prove it criminally, I can get something on this is literally, in my head, I watch enough, Law and Order and all this other stuff. I'm literally thinking the prosecutor went to her as like, hey, I'm sorry, but, I can't get you the criminal prosecution that you want, but I can negotiate something so at least you could go after him civilly and you'll be able to recoup some financial whatever for your trial for your made up shit. You get what I'm saying? So I feel like it went down like that, and so for her to lie like this, that's a lie. Today's majority decision regarding Bill Cosby is not only disappointing but of concern in that he may discourage those who seek justice for sexual assault in the criminal justice system from reporting or participating in the prosecution of the assailant, or may force a victim to choose between filing either a criminal or civil action, the statement said. That don't even make sense because you can actually file both of them. You can file both of them, and that's how you know this is a sneaky witch. You can file both. You can have the criminal and the civil. So you have to feel like you can have either or. You were told you don't have the criminal because of evidence. So for you to try to feel or try to paint this picture that what happened to you is something that victims would have to be concerned about. No, that's not it. Today's, what I hope the decision and what happened here with Bill Cosby, because they weren't able to come, I hope it encourages women to actually come out. I hope it helps somebody who has been silent for 3 years say, you know what, I don't want to live with this decision if I don't fight for myself. Like, I hope this does that for somebody. That's what I do hope. I hope someone does not wait. So you can look at it as though this may discourage. I hope it motivates somebody to stand up for themselves. About 2 hours after the ruling was published on Wednesday, Cosby was released from the FCI Phoenix Detention Center about 35 miles northeast of Philadelphia, where he had been housed as an inmate number NN7687. I may have to play that number. I may have to play. Let me write that down. I may have to play that number, y'all. The freed Cosby was driven to his home in Elkins Park, which is about 25 miles southeast of the prison. He was helped out of the car while wearing a maroon t-shirt and baggy blue pants. Cosby emerged from the house a short time later wearing a t-shirt of Central High School in Philadelphia. Represent your high school. And then the school gonna come out and say that, listen to you schools who took money from him and people from these schools who be on Clubhouse and talk about a nice school gave it back and da-da-da-da-da. Y'all be so quick to be in these rooms talking about protect black men, but then when it's something that hits your soul, you literally, everything critical and everything logical that we use to question everything else is out the door. Don't make sense. It don't make sense. Cosby emerged, and there's some of y'all schools out there. Give him the money. Give the money back. Cosby emerged from the house a short time later wearing a T-shirt of Central High School in Philadelphia. I think that's his high school. A handful of supporters cheered him with shouts of "Hey, hey, hey!" I know that's right, cause Fat Albert, he owned that too. In homage to an animated character, he voiced Fat Albert. He raised a fist but did not answer any questions from a reporter. Cosby later called into a local Philadelphia radio station, WDAS FM, where he said the audience needed clarity, they needed guidance. Listen, this is very true. In general, black folk need some clarity and they needed some guidance because they lost their damn mind. And it's so funny, and don't want to go there right now. Hold on one second. I'm just making a note of something, because I might want to get back to that. All right, I'm not going to go there right now. But, yes, this is the team right here. Yes, I was happy just like that. I'm not going to lie to you. I was happy just like that. I think he should get whatever money he gave Miss Andrea Constand needs to be given back. There was an NDA that was signed that was broken for her to get, for this conviction to go through. She had to testify. I think the woman's a liar. just is what it is. I pointed to things in her in her statement that lets you know that she's not. She's full of it. I also want to show you guys what. Okay, it's on BET. So hold on. This one. Wait a minute. Okay, so this article here, they actually have the women. So I just want to show you what these women had to say. And I'm not going to like disrespect any of these women. It is what it is. These are just accusations. Let's be clear. Accusations are not facts. We still need evidence for facts, and there still needs to be investigations and convictions for something to be factual and to include into an actual new trial, right? So you're just going to take anything anybody says because you feel like 50 people, such a large number, it must be true? Huh? I hope to have 50,000 haters. 50 million. Right? For every 50 million, I hope to have 200 million. You get what I'm saying? Like, is what it is.
Yes. Shocked. Stunned. Sickened. Stunned.
Distraught.
Nauseated. Disgusted. Confused. The anger just kept growing and growing.
Victoria, who are you most angry at?
I'm angry at the legal system. We put our necks on the line, and then the legal system yanked the rug out from under us.
I first met all but one of these women in 2015 when I interviewed more than 20 of Bill Cosby's accusers in one room. Most had never even met before. Many of their stories eerily similar.
And very quickly, the room started spinning.
I was just holding my head because I didn't know what was happening.
Bill Cosby has consistently denied any non-consensual sexual activity. The Pennsylvania Supreme Court overturned his 2018 conviction, saying his due process rights were violated.
I really think that Bill Cosby bought his way out of this, which he pretty much bought his way through it all along.
Does it feel like you're being re-victimized?
Well, of course it does. We are re-victimized time and time again throughout the whole judicial process.
I'm concerned for the victims of sexual assault that they will have that attitude of, why bother? Why bother telling my story?
What would you tell those women?
I would say stay strong, stay faithful, and talk and tell someone. And if that person doesn't listen, keep on telling until someone does.
They hold on to the fact that more than 60 Cosby accusers are part of what they call a sisterhood now.
Oh,
Nothing can change the fact that a jury of his peers convicted him. Nothing can change the fact that his own words convicted him.
Janice and Lisa Lott, you both testified in the trial in support of Andrea Constand. Lisa Lott, do you regret that?
Absolutely not. I would go back and do it again. This man has spent 2 years and 9 months in jail. This man has lost his entire reputation. He's lost every bit of credibility that he's ever had.
Lublin and others have fought to change state laws, extending statutes of limitations to allow accusers more time to seek justice.
This may be the kickstart that we need for more states to get involved.
We're just pissed off. And it's relit this fire under us. We're all angry now. It's only going to reignite our passions for supporting others in the same position.
This weekend, many Cosby accusers say they plan to attend a vigil at Independence Hall in Philadelphia. You can also see more of my exclusive interview tomorrow on Today.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow Today.
all right. So that's that. So I wanted you guys to see that. I'm not gonna go into and like bash these women or anything like that. But that whole I'm just shocked. How could this happen? Maybe people have not explained how the law works and Fifth Amendment rights and all that other stuff. But like I said, and I was saying, the media purposely did not ask questions. Did not seem like they were exploring those things and looking at the laws and all the other stuff. They were really readily okay with going along with his rights being violated. They were okay with it. They didn't question it. So, when they are totally shocked about, him being released and some people being happy and all this other stuff, or people feeling like, how is he, because, it's being reported that Bill Cosby wants to go back out touring. He wants to do radio interviews. He wants to live his life like an innocent, free man. You get what I'm saying? And I'm like, why not? Why can't he? Why do people think that he should just be sitting at home and living like he's guilty? Is Woody Allen sitting at home living like he's guilty? Because he hasn't been convicted of anything, but what we do know for a fact is that he is married to his adopted stepdaughter. Come on. I'm sorry, his adopted daughter. That's what we do know. We do know that. That's our factual information. We do know that. So with that being said, he still lives his life. He still makes movies. He's still awarded. He's not shamed. Jeffrey Epstein was also convicted. And, we can convicted and we can call him a lesser charge as person too. Yes. Jeffrey Epstein was also convicted. Y'all was still on the island with him after that. Hobnobbing. Drinking champagne. Oprah and Gail and them. Everybody was out there on the island. And it was fine. There was no disgust or feeling like, why is he interacting and being around people and living his life like a non-guilty person? And he was actually convicted of so nobody had no questions then. Nobody was upset. And let's talk about Charlamagne the God. Yes, Breakfast Club. Nobody wants to stand for Jessica Reed? That weren't 50 years ago. And he took a lesser charge. And y'all are okay with that. Why do some things make y'all upset and other things don't? Why are you comfortable with going up there and interviewing with a man who brags about slipping women's stuff and taking the vagina? Some of you women are weird to me that go up there still. But you're mad about Bill Cosby? You're mad about Bill Cosby, but you're comfortable with Charlamagne. Just in case you don't give it up, he's already done got the Spanish fly. He talking and you said you gonna give it up, but he's still gonna use the Spanish fly in case you forgot that you said you were gonna give it up. And y'all comfortable with talking to this man. Y'all can play in my face and play in traffic because I'm not stupid. Y'all are out here for self. Y'all not really about nothing. Y'all really not standing on nothing. If it's not just putting up posts or saying something a little cute or seeming like y'all down for something. Because being down for a cause and being down for is not going to the Breakfast Club. He joked around with what he did to that girl. That girl has to hear him on the radio. She has to walk around and live her life where she has to ignore that she has this famous man on the radio making light of her sexual assault. And these are factual information because he took a lesser charge. She went to the hospital that day. She can't even get no support, and her shit is factual. She went to the hospital that day. An ambulance arrived. Yes, we do get to move on with our lives after we do things. Yes, we do get to make amends. Yes, we do all that. But when a mother does something to you and then have a nerve to joke around with it and play with it in your face. No. There's no back to regularly scheduled program. It's none of that. It's up and stuck with Charlamagne. Because you didn't let that girl move on. You decide to use this for entertainment purposes because you have no real personality. Yep, I'm a small bite, but I'm going to talk. You have no real personality on this mic. If you ain't talking shit and saying some crude ass sexual deviant shit, and all this shit is allegedly, it just is what it is. If you ain't saying no, cruel ass sexual deviant shit, and I thought the shit was disgusting from the very beginning. It was like you was trying to make eating the booty and shit cool. That shit was never cool. No. So when I hear people trying to have that moral stance of how could Bill Cosby and how could people support you can't play. I just don't. It just don't hold weight until y'all are massively speaking about Charlamagne. Y'all are picking and choosing out here, and I'm picking. So I picked my side, I guess, and I'm picking Bill Cosby. Y'all picking folks like Charlamagne, and so like I said, I was going to because I want to hurry up and get there because I don't want this to be over too much of it, over an hour because it's gonna be kind of long. It's one of them long ones. When people catch on, they're gonna catch on and get this fire, but. I wanted to talk about the outsiders with really strong ass opinions, okay? Really strong ass opinions about things about us. And I'm going to highlight a gentleman. I mean, I'm not really a big fan of Tariq Nasheed because he says some very sexist and misogynistic thing towards women. But when someone makes a point, they make a point, and I can ride with it. I want to shout out who page this is. Forgotten Kings TV 2.0. Listen, my algorithm right now is stuck in the manosphere. I don't mind it because let me tell you something about the men. At least with them, I feel like it's like, how can I say it? Like, they really be talking, right? With women, it's be like a whole bunch of feelings. It's a whole bunch of shit. I don't know. I feel like the men conversations are more clear and direct and like to the point. Whereas sometimes the women conversations can be kind of a bit much. It can be a bit much. But I like the directness. But I also want to shout out the manosphere because what I seen what they did with the Maria Taylor story and supporting and going against ESPN. When I'm telling you, these brothers in the manosphere of YouTube really have been getting at the Rachel Karen Nichols and ESPN for her, and I thought that was dope. You know, we always talk about seeing more men speak up for black women, but I will say there have been a lot of men calling out black men. There were even black men who felt some sort of way about what she was getting paid. Like I'm talking against her getting millions of dollars. And it'd just be so crazy because it'd be your own people. They'd be that good to get, let's work together. Let's support each other. And the minute that you have the ability to show that you support, you hating. That don't make no sense. I'll never understand a black person mad at another black person for getting them folks money. Like, I don't get that. So once I see that, like, yeah, you're no pro-black. You just a crab and you just a jealous person at heart. Alright, so Tariq Nasheed goes off on Fat Joe saying Bill Cosby was released from prison due to a technicality. No damn technicality. Like I said, I had to holler at Boss Up because they said the same thing. I wrote to them and added them, and of course they didn't respond because it was like after reading the Pennsylvania Supreme Court's decision, you walked away from that and there was a technicality. Do you know what a technicality is? Okay, so we had this big major situation here in Boston, Massachusetts, where we had the lab that tests the drugs and stuff for our for the police and for the courts and all the other stuff. Come to find out, one of the lab technician lied and said that she had her doctorate or whatever degree she needed to be in that field. She lied and said she didn't have it. And so because she lied and was like faking the results and like was lying about the results, and not really doing the test, basically. So let's just say you ran a specific test. I think it was reported that her coworker said, like, on average, the quickest sometime you could do this test would maybe 7 days, right? They were saying she was turning up with results like 4 days. And they just was like, oh my God, like, they just thought she was like the MJ, LeBron James of the lab, because the way she was turning out the work. The way she was just, you know, really really holding it down, like really doing her thing. So come to find out, she was not doing the testing. She was just faking and doing whatever results that she wanted, and that she did not have her degree. So which meant that everybody who was convicted that she dealt with their case and the drugs or whatever the evidence to do with their case got overturned, right? Release. That's a technicality, y'all. That's a version of a technicality. Now, the actual court judicial system breaking the law and violating your rights is not a technicality. That's a choice, honey. That's a choice. That's a choice. That's a choice. That's not a technicality. That the courts messed up. That's not a technicality. The lab messing up is a technicality. Okay?
Speaking of foreigners, speaking on the Bill Cosby thing, let's get into this real quick. Rapper.
Hold up.
Fat Joe spoke out against Cosby. Hold on, listen what Fat Joe had to say. Hold on. Fat Joe, who's not a foundational black American.
You know, Bill Cosby came home from jail. He's supposed to come home from jail because he made a deal 10 years prior where he testified in a civil court case, and they said, if you testify, we can never bring you in criminally. They went back on them words, and
I'm gonna play the rest, but Joe, I like Fat Joe, man. And I like a lot of people feel a certain way about Fat Joe. I like Fat Joe, but Fat Joe, this ain't the hill you wanna die on, brother. Fat Joe, this ain't it. This ain't the one, brother. This ain't the hill you don't want to bury your microphone in this hill, Fat Joe.
Wait, before you scroll away, you need to hear this. Republicans across the country are moving fast to enact massive voter suppression laws and bring up
Fat Joe, he's absolutely right. You shouldn't even be talking, to be completely honest. And when he's talking about he liked you, I mean, yeah, I liked you too, until you started to just speak a little too much. And I know we do the same thing, and now you done transition from the rapper to now you're a personality and give your opinions and all the other stuff. If it's not about arroz con pollo, okay? You know, if it's not about Gloria Estefan, if it's not about Jennifer Lopez, we don't want your cultural opinions about our shit. We just don't. I'm just being completely honest with you. I don't want it. Me personally, I don't want it. I don't want it be off. Your opinions be off. And yeah, you may have came through, but you don't know us like you think you know us. You get what I'm saying? You said that shit about Quincy Jones. You said that, what's his name? DJ Khaled is the new, or the, well, I don't know what the hell. You said he was the new Quincy Jones. That was like the disrespect. How dare you? It was like, how dare you? Like, Quincy Jones is a composer. He plays instruments. Like, he's legendary. He's did movies. Like, he's did it all. Like, he brought us Michael Jackson. He brought us Tevin Campbell. Like, what is you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? Like, even if you went back and watched the James Brown movie, he made sure that you, no, I'm sorry, the Ray Charles movie, he made sure that you seen Quincy Jones because you needed to see how he transitioned and changed the Chitlin circuit to what y'all have today as in terms of touring. He said, I ain't doing that no more. Who, did y'all call it who? Out your mind. Out of your mind when you did that. And it's the disrespect of just not knowing what you're talking about. Just learn to say, I don't know. I'm not gonna make no, like, I don't know who he could be in your community, but he can't be Quincy Jones in our community. Okay, respect our community. DJ Khaled is great at what he does. You know what I mean? Because I'm never a hater, but at the same time, it is compilation. It is finding beats. It's finding dope. He just goes get the best of the best, and they do what they do on songs. But I don't think that's the same thing as somebody who is from beginning to end putting together music and all this other stuff. I don't think it's the same talent. I just don't. Because you're taking already superstars and just releasing music every year. Like every other year or something like that. So no, it's not the same thing. No. You don't have to create too hard if you working, like, you get what I'm saying, with Michelangelo. You ain't got to play too hard if you play next to Michael Jordan. Now you better because the way he'll get on you. But I'm just saying, it's just the facts of the matter. That's just whatever. But let's get back.
Joe, I like Fat Joe, man, but Joe, and I feel bad that Joe is burying himself. Joe, this boy, let me play the rest, Joe. This ain't it, Fat Joe.
They still use his words against him 10 years later, and they put him in jail. Supreme Court found that was a technicality.
No, that wasn't a technicality. Joe, other people, Joe, you're repeating white supremacist shit.
Yes.
Joe, we gotta educate you about the culture. Joe, we're gonna have to educate you about the culture. That wasn't no technicality. That was some shit that never should have been filed, period. That's not a technicality, like some clerical error with the paperwork. That was a finesse that those prosecutors were doing. They were
railroading a black man
from the get-go. They were doing some shit that they knew would violate the Constitution. They were hoping that nobody would catch it. That wasn't a technicality, okay? Let me play the rest. We got to educate people who are not part of foundational Black American culture speaking on stuff like this.
Mm-hmm. They shouldn't be able to use that against them. That's the law. Let's stand by the law. We're going to stand by the law. But let's just say the truth. It was a flaw.
And the other part, and I know people are like, oh, we're making it a race thing when we say the foundational black man, him not being there. No, there's a cultural understanding that we get as being foundational black people here, that Fat Joe and his family for generations has not experienced, right? So he does not know what this white woman type of, like I explained to you guys earlier, that story, what that's about. There's not a generation of Emmit Tills in his family, like in his community. Yes, you do experience what we experience in terms of what being a minority and facing police officers, in terms of like, you do face some of that, but you do not face this other shit that we go through. That is deeper than you could ever understand. So yes, that's why he's saying this was not a technicality. This was them deciding to do whatever the fuck they want. That mob that does what they did in Tulsa, Rosewood, and all these other massacres. That's a decision to say, F the law, F what we know to be true, F people's rights to live without being murdered. We're going to do whatever the fuck we want. So that's why it was so important that you're missing, that it's not a technicality. This was a disregard for human beings because we can.
It was a glitch, a technical thing.
No, it wasn't, Joe. Joe, that wasn't a technical glitch. This wasn't a computer error, dude. This wasn't a glitch. Upholding the law, the Fifth Amendment, that's a rock-solid constitutional right. That's not a glitch. You don't violate that and then try to set somebody up knowing whatever they say, you're going to file a criminal charge because you've already planned on finding anything in the deposition to spin and flip. That's not a glitch, my brother. This was a finesse that they were planning on from the beginning. That is not a glitch. They can't keep trying to dismiss that as a glitch. We're going to have to get on this. We're going to have to talk about my brother Joe. And hold on. Hold on.
Everybody out here showing the pudding pops and this and that. You know, Bill Cosby did some things.
What did he do, Joe?
Okay, so I can't, if there's certain rules, I quit. Me, yeah, there's women out there for a fact, falsely accusing entertainers, athletes, celebrities.
Nigga, F all that. What did he do? Don't get around it. Don't say something. Don't state something as a fact and then don't offer the actual evidence to support what you're saying is a fact. You said that he actually did something, right? To get around what he did, and then you don't list nothing of what he did. Because what basically you're showing is your basic understanding of what the facts is of the case, of you not knowing the actual facts. And that's why he keeps on telling you that you're regurgitating white talking points. Okay? And the other thing where you found your voice, and I'd be really surprised at that because I think it's really important. This is the selective voice that people like to find when it's so easy to try to convict or come out against an 83-year-old man that's out the way, right? He ain't that dude who can call the shots anymore, right? There's no more opportunities coming through Dr. Bill Cosby because it is what it is. There's no more opportunities to be had there, so we have all these black men who are relatively silent for anything other famous black men do. So y'all get lost for the Chris Brown incidents. Y'all get lost for who else is the other person? Y'all get lost. Your voices are lost for little Uzi Vert. I don't hear nothing on that. Yeah, y'all get real quiet and selective. But the 83-year-old man done brought y'all voice out, y'all male voice. Y'all now want to tell other men about sexual assault. And it's the 83-year-old man. Y'all were so quiet about R. Kelly. You needed to see more because a documentary wasn't enough. The young girls who were 14 and 15 at the time when they started, and they tell you I started sleeping with him when he came to the mall with his people, and he was walking through the mall, and he had a whole system, and the security guard would come and pull the girl that he liked to the side and give me his number. What? Y'all thought that was normal? You needed to see more to speak. But all of a sudden, y'all out here for the 83-year-old man and the 40-year-old evidence that we don't got. But we got this mother talking about age ain't nothing but a number. We got this mother boo ooh. We got all that. We got a videotape. We got all of that. Okay? We got all of that, but y'all still need to see more. But the 83-year-old man is the one that does it for y'all. Get the fuck out of here. Get out of here. Y'all are full of it. And I want to see what Fat Joe thought about R. Kelly because I just want to see. I want to see. So let's get our Google on. Keep it simple. Sometimes. Fat Joe R. Kelly accusations. Let's narrow it down a little bit. Okay, Dr. Dre, Fat Joe tweet weigh in on R. Kelly scandal. This is 2002. So we want news. Whoa. Let's go back there though. Let's see what he said in 2002. Dr. Dre, Fat Joe tweet weigh in on R. Kelly scandal. So this is MTV. Okay, R. Kelly's first recording since being accused of sexual relations with a minor arrived in stores last week. In a series in a serious decline in sales suggests a possible backlash toward the singer. Best of Both Worlds debuted at number 2 on the Billboard 200 album chart, but sold less than half of what Kelly's last album, TP2.com. Now that TP2.com is a great album, okay? I would listen to that now that he's in jail. Yes, step in the name of love. Don't bend over in jail. It hits different now. Like, it's good. It's good music. So I don't mind listening. TP2.com and Jay-Z's Blueprint sold in their first weeks. All right. Perhaps the best of perhaps the best of pop. The latest now that's what I call music compilation simply got the best of R&B and hip hop royalty. Or maybe the widespread bootlegging of the highly anticipated collaboration hurt them. But their peers believe Kelly's sex scandal is at least partially to blame. You see, this is back in the day when people was like bootlegging and like, you get what I'm saying, you had like the share bear accounts and like you were ripping music. So yeah, this was, people didn't know, like, this is when like the decline started happening in sales and stuff like that. Although he has yet to be charged, a videotape that allegedly shows Kelly having sex with an underage girl has circulated on the internet. Like, people were sharing this videos, like, and you could buy this video at like flea markets. That's literally what is being reported allegedly, because all this shit is allegedly. But that's what is being reported, that allegedly, like, you could literally buy these videos. Like, people seeing these videos. How about Charlamagne the Lesser Charge ass nigga? He even tweeted that the best sex tape, R. Kelly had the best sex tape. And we've all known from the very beginning that it's alleged that the girl on the tape is 14. This is Charlamagne. Okay? This is the man who pled to a lesser charge for what he did to Jessica Reed on air or in these streets, making fun or thinking this type of behavior is okay. Tell me shit. And while the Chicago police are still investigating the authenticity of the tape, which was handed over after it was sent anonymously to the Chicago Sun-Times, some are already considering its evidence against the singer, who has also been accused of having sex with other minors, okay? Well, we just here to hear what Fat Joe had to say. So let's get to it. Some artists such as Fat Joe, who's single We Thuggin' features Kelly, are supporting the singer. So you supported R. Kelly in 2002, Fat Joe. But the 83-year-old man is too much. But with the cases from 30 to 40 years ago. But you can support R. Kelly on a tape in current time. And current time meaning still relatively in time frame of when it happened. In the current time, you can support R. Kelly. Nigga, please. Nigga, please. He's like, okay. Are supporting the singer. So this is Joe. He's like this sex-driven dude. So automatically that makes him guilty because his image is caught up like that, Joe said. As far as I'm concerned, I hope it's a rumor. I wish him the best. All of that evidence. And he still was okay with supporting R. Kelly. Oh, I mean, let's be clear. We're talking about this videotape, right? This is after Aaliyah. We got to give context to things, all right? He needed all of this. So he allegedly, but we know for a fact, right, married Aaliyah when she was underage. And then you have this videotape where it's alleged that it's a 14-year-old girl that he's giving a golden shower to. And you can support him, but you can question the evidence against the 83-year-old man from shit that happened 40 years ago. Oh, okay. Okay. Let's see what he thought this time around in regards to R. Kelly. Motherfuckers don't be consistent. That's why you can't pay these motherfuckers any mind, to be completely honest with you. Thou shalt not judge Okay, y'all. Now I got quiet for a second, but I'm back. Oh, can't find it. I bet you. Okay, we're gonna find August 11th, 2020. Let's see. And I'm sorry, it be toxic trash ass men out here co-signing and being in these streets talking about don't judge and trying to get on the spiritual tip about other toxic ass men. It be because they can see themselves doing the same shit. So they get in these streets and they use their platforms and they use their supporters that are going to stand behind them and on everything they say to sway public opinion the way they want for people they like, or situations that they know that shit, this nigga got caught this week, it could be me in 2 weeks if niggas really found out. Like, literally, that's literally what it comes across as. Okay, August 11, 2020, we are at hiphopdx.com. Tyrese is still profoundly a fan of R. Kelly, as he feels he's in no place to judge another person's action. And literally, that just literally is what it is. The whole I don't feel like I should judge thing, like Christians and stuff like that, they'll do that a lot, and so it makes you think of Bible, so that because you're not supposed to judge, and this is the manipulative part of it, because you're not supposed to be out here judging people, but at the same time, when you're saying it, you're only saying it because you know that you're somebody that be in these blogs for doing bullshit with women. Period. Like your ex-wife has come out and alleged some things with you, so you know that you know you got dirt. So when you know you got dirt, you kind of turn the other cheek to other people, and you don't get involved because it's like you don't want to be a hypocrite, and that's all that is. Appearing on Fat Joe's Instagram live show on Sunday, August 9th, the Fast and Furious star named the embattled singer as one of his favorite and was quick to note he was aware of the backlash people may give him for it. R. Kelly, with all of his videos, what he was doing musically and sonically, and how he figured out a way to change and evolve and stay relevant all those years. He began, I know he's got a lot of controversy and heat on him. I get it. So ain't no need to get in my comments if you write some goofy shit. I'm gonna say it's okay. I think R. Kelly is one of the best to ever do it. Like, I really do. But I think he's one of the best that ever did it. But I don't know where I feel like. I don't think he's been creative. He's been great at what he does. Do I think that he took R&B to another, like, creative dimension in sound? No, I don't think that. I think he stayed relatively in the frameworks of what we had seen in terms of, like, a Lenny Williams, I Love You, or in terms of, like, Marvin Gaye. Like, we've seen great R&B singers, so he's done it the longest probably at this point. I feel like, in sense of being like really mainstream, that managed to stay really mainstream and live this kind of live this long and stay so mainstream. Yes, most definitely that. But I don't think it's been a creative, like, next level. Like, if I think of, like, next level creative, I think of somebody like a Little Richard. That sound was like next level. I think of somebody like Prince. That sound is like next level. Like, that's what I think of. Like, I think of like next level sound, right? Not just because you just did great at what already has been being done, if that makes sense. But anyway, I'm just trying to get to Fat Joe. Basically, we here for Fat Joe. We know Tyrese is something's not wrong with him. We go from Black Ty to Tyrese, but here we go. In personality, like, it'd be really extreme. 1 week, Tyrese is missing his wife that he's actually still married to showing up 2 days later with the next chick. Like, it's extreme. It's toxic. So, take everything he says with a grain of salt sometimes.
That's a mean-started five.
Yeah, R. Kelly, with all of his videos, what he was doing musically and sonically, and how he figured out a way to change and evolve and stay relevant over all of those years. I know he's got a lot of controversy and heat on him. I get it. So ain't no need to get in my comments. And if you write some goofy shit, I'm going to say it's okay.
Tyrese, Don't fear no problem saying R. Kelly
I just
nowadays.
say it. I'm too real to fake it, man. I just have to say it. Like, what I've learned over the years, man, is that there's a lot of people in our industry, rather music, producing, directing, studio execs, billionaires, real estate, the tech space. Everybody is involved in something that they don't ever want people to know about publicly. And I would say, you know what? Just let God do his job.
See, and that's exactly what I told y'all. When a nigga, a trash ass nigga, and very toxic in relationships, and I love me some Tyrese. So TGT, those my niggas. I love them. But at the same time, I know double talk when I hear it, and I know when somebody is going to tell you, you know, this that type of nigga get caught doing something and really don't want to explain himself and really don't want to be held accountable. So it's a whole lot of, oh God, and karma, or let God handle it. Like, it's gonna be a whole lot of that type of talk. But even with like giving his honest opinion about right and wrong, he's conflicted about being able to say what's right and wrong when he knows that he has demons in him and he probably doing some trash ass shit. And that's why he said everybody got stuff that they doing. That's exactly what I said. So exactly, he knows that he trash as fuck. I still love me some Tyrese. Shame was so amazing. But yeah, shame.
And if I were to find out about what everybody is into, we probably wouldn't be a fan of anybody.
Sure. That is a fact.
There's some people that do what they do, and they know how to keep their shit completely in the closet.
Mm-hmm.
And again, when you are...
And that's a good point. I mean, I'm trying to tell y'all, that's why I said 50 is not a high number. And depending on if you put yourself out there and how well you're known, it just is what it is. Not everybody going to be able to say they feel the same way about you. It doesn't make you an awful person, but at the same time, doesn't make you a great person, doesn't make you an awful person. What it does mean is that every situation is different. And if it's not explored and it's not explained, one person's experience or feelings of that interaction, it's not just facts. It's two ways. Yes, you both feel the same way about me, but did you both do some bitch ass shit to feel that same way about me? We have to be honest about that. Because all of that could be true about me. But what did you do? I mean, it just be one of those things, I feel like.
You have drug problems, you are alcoholic, or you got vices that may be inappropriate, or whatever the case may be. You're just trying your best to do whatever it is that you're doing, just hoping that people don't find out about it. But I'm a Christian man.
Oh, God.
I have found that Christian people are the most judgmental, and that's one of the...
And hypocritical.
The scriptures in the Bible, it says, you know, thou shalt not judge.
All right, so Fat Joe didn't say anything, so I have to go back up here to see if he ever... So Fat Joe never said how he felt about him in this interview. Like, it was more of like a listening type of thing, because I think once you do this more and more, you get aware of making sure that, like, once you say something, you try to be aware of it, which is probably a little different than the interview he did in 2002, where he was like defending him, but he doesn't want to defend him now because he's trying to do the whole media things, right? So that's going to make it, that's disingenuous, right? Because you're not keeping it real. All right, so what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to find Fat Joe's like a current one where he's gotten to see the documentary, because the documentary didn't happen until like recently. It wasn't in 2002, so he's gotten to see the documentary because I guess R. Kelly allegedly or whatever marrying Aaliyah and then this tape with him on it is not enough. I mean, it was down in his basement. He had the same wood paneling that Kaya got. Like, it still matches. You get what I'm saying? That wasn't enough. That wasn't enough for Fat Joe back then. Oh wow. I'm sorry. Oh my God, I didn't know this. I know I'm getting distracted, but I didn't know Fat Joe turned over the publishing to Big Pun. I hope he gave it to his wife. Let me see. Oh, that's dope. I do like that. Oh, shot. And that was just made. This is okay. Let me see the date on this article. That he's still. I mean, that's a stand-up thing to do. So he gave the publishing and like the rights to the music and stuff for Big Pun, the late Big Pun, rest in peace. He gave the rights to his catalog to his family, and and the wife that came out and has spoken out about it and stuff like that, talking about she didn't feel like she was getting enough money. So I think it's dope to see Fat Joe hand that over. That's really admirable, only because he's had a lot of success on his own with his music. So to see him say, hey, you know what? I'm going to survive with what I'm doing and what I have done. I don't need this to survive, and to say that's a selfless act. So I like that like a lot. Okay, so I'm going to take back some of them fuck and nigga shut up shit. I'm going to take some of that shit back, but just don't speak about us, okay? You don't know this pain. You don't know what this is about. You don't know this is why we come in the way we come in as foundational, ADOS people, by lineage ass people. You don't know that's why we come in, because you don't have the full grasp of our history. That's all we trying to say. That's all we trying to say. Okay? You're hypocritical out in the streets. Just tighten it up. This is just a message to say tighten it up. That's all. This is just a message to say tighten. Don't talk about my TV parents. Okay? Don't do that. But you cool for what you did for Big Pun and his wife. So we're going to leave it there. Y'all stay black. Y'all stay bougie. Y'all come back and check me out. Y'all how we do it. Keep it live. We keep it, you know what I mean? Posh and all that other good stuff. Like I said, y'all know I can guarantee you one thing. I'm gonna be doing too much. But don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see y'all next video. I'm going to get to this Claire versus Vivian Banks, okay? Because them are two of the baddest women that have ever graced the TV. And just to see them go back and forth, I thought was like, okay, I'm gonna have to step in here and get my aunties together and get them to stop fighting, because that's not what we doing. We need unity, okay? But y'all be blessed, and I'm out.